It's really time for this country to face the existential threat that is the Democrat Party and the deep state who supports them. A couple of things happened last week, and I was thinking about this weekend and what's the angle for the show this week. But these events that happened last week expose the truly the ugly truth about the totalitarian state that we live in. And no, that's not an overstatement. Bongino's been talking about the police state for a long time, and he's absolutely right. When I talk about totalitarianism, I'm talking about the Democrats as fascists, and there can be no question about it now. We are indeed living in a totalitarian state, courtesy of the fascist Democrat Party. The reason why I'm going with the term fascist, and I've said that the Democrats are commie mouth breathers many, many times in the past. And of course, for all the new folks and new faces in the live chat, if you're watching the live show, we haven't, going back to the first week of the show, anytime I say the term mouth breather, we got like a mouth breather drinking game. Anytime I say the term mouth breather, you guys take a drink. If we were playing the game right now, you'd probably be 4 drinks in. So I say mouth breather a lot. And so you know that I've called the Democrats commie mouth breathers, but it's more accurate to say fascist. And I'll explain why here in a second, but I want you to think about what they always call us. Antifa, anti-fascists. What I tell you all the time is the golden rule, right? And the golden rule is anything the Democrats accuse us of, Republicans or conservatives, they themselves are guilty of. They are very, very deliberate and careful about this. This is something that they do consciously. They project what they do onto others so as to deflect any sort of accountability. Say, no, the real threat's over there. It's not actually from us. That's the goal, and it's a deliberate one. So think about Antifa, anti-fascist. In other words, they're anti everything that has to do with Trump and America First and the Republican Party at large. But let me explain why it's more accurate to say fascist. In Spokane, Washington, 3 teenagers were arrested for the heinous crime of riding scooters over an LGBTQ++ LMNOP rainbow flag that was painted on a public road. And as they drove over this rainbow painting, again, on the road, they left skid marks from the tires on their scooters. You heard that right. They were arrested for scooter marks on a rainbow. Watch, listen. Okay, so for our friends who are listening on iHeart, what you saw was a couple of teenagers riding motorized scooters. My children have these like little motorized scooters riding over a rainbow that was painted on the road. The 3 teenagers seen in the video that I just showed you have been charged with felonies for, again, leaving tire marks on the pride flag painted on the streets in Spokane, Washington. Prosecutors in Spokane, Washington are demanding a $15,000 bond for the teens. $15,000. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C.'s Lafayette Square, hundreds of pro-Hamas terrorist sympathizing left-wing losers, life losers, vandalize historic statues of the heroes of our founding fathers who won us our freedom from Brits, from the British rule. They vandalized and they defaced monuments in our nation's capital with paint, with hateful messages, calling for genocide of the Jews, actually calling for an overthrow of the United States government. And guess what, folks? I think you know where I'm going with this. Not one single arrest was made at all. For my folks who are watching, I want you to watch this video of how these terrorist sympathizing life losers vandalize a monument of our founders in Washington, D.C., and pay special attention to how they harass the lone police officer or law enforcement officer was there who dared to stand up amidst this rabid crowd of pro-Hamas losers and tell them to stop. Watch how this man is treated. For our friends who are listening, that's what you're going to be hearing right now. Listen to this. That's him yelling at a police officer. Saying, throwing things at him. Throwing water bottles, things. This is dangerous. The statue is completely destroyed. He was hit there. Now, let me ask you all a question. And I really mean it, folks. What do you think was worse? The kids riding the scooters or the vandalizing of memorials in our nation's capital and basically the assault on a police officer? Seriously. It's unbelievable, but this is the stark reality of the world that we live in today in America.
Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest.
To get your free definitive gold guide and get started learning more about investing in gold and protecting your retirement from uncertain times, visit treasureandtrust.com now. Fill out the basic contact form and a member of the team will be in touch. Again, that's treasureandtrust.com or call 855-625-7760.